Okay, I know the thumbnail probably caught your attention to this video, and I'm gonna make this video about homeschool curriculum that I would never buy or never use. Now, that doesn't mean that you may not like it. You may love this curriculum, and I get that, and I understand that, but this is curriculum that I won't buy. I am a former public and private school teacher. I am a homeschool mom. 10 years, I have 4 wonderful kids, and I also do homeschool evaluations for the state of Florida. And so when I do these evaluations, I come across a lot of different curriculum out there, as well as a lot of different opinions about this curriculum. And I also see a lot of different results from the students that use these types of curriculum. So the first one I'm gonna say is a Becca. Everybody loves a Becca. Not everybody, but a lot of people love a Becca. And when you love a Becca, you love a Becca. I'll be honest, when I do these homeschool curriculums and advise homeschool parents, sometimes they will say, this is my first year homeschooling, what should I use? And I will give them a list, and a Becca will be on that list. And that is because a Becca is so incredibly thorough. It's gonna cross all your T's, dot all your I's. Your kid is gonna they're gonna excel when it comes to their academics. Now, the reason I would never use a Becca is because I feel for my kids it is just too rigorous. It is just too much, and there's so many other different types of curriculum out there that we enjoy as a family. And now Becca makes it so this is what you use, you can't really stray from it, and you really don't have time to use really anything else. I want to be able to use all of that other stuff with my family. There are some things theologically with a Becca that I don't agree with, but they're very minor type things. Other than that, I mean, it is a solid Christian curriculum. I also know that some private schools will use a Becca because it dots all the I's, crosses all the T's, it does all the things. And it is a great first year curriculum if you are nervous about your child's academics and how well they're doing, but I would never use a Becca because it is too rigorous. Another one that I would not purchase, believe it or not, is Matthew C. It's not a bad curriculum. It's a very good curriculum, actually, but it would not work for my family for several reasons. Matthew C is very thorough. It does its job, especially for those kids that need those hands-on experiences. I have a friend that is a former math teacher for high school, and her son has autism, and she just hated it. That's what she said. She never used it. She just, looking at the approach, she hated it. She used it for her son that has autism, and it was the only thing that really worked for him. So she just changed her mind and fell in love with Matthew C. Now, one of the reasons I would never use it for my family is because I feel like when you start Matthew C, you need to stick with Matthew C for the rest of your child's career. Kindergarten through high school, because it is taught very differently than traditional math curriculum. It's got unit studies, so to speak, or it chunks it out into sections. So you're going to learn multiplication, you're going to learn division, you're going to learn fractions, and you're going to absorb yourself in that topic and master it before you move on to the next one, which is a very good technique, and it works for a lot of kids. It's also very hands-on. But so when you get a child who has been doing Matthew C, and you're going to test them with a nationally normed test, which actually I do know that a lot of states require that, you're going to find that their math scores are going to be below average. They're not going to score. Why? Because it's taught differently. They're not doing bad in math. The student is not doing bad in math. It's just they've been taught differently. And the benchmarks that the nationally normed test lays out, they're requiring different, it's just different. And so I know that when I do standardized tests with my kiddos that I evaluate, I will see their math scores really, really, really low and all the other scores really high. And usually one of the first things I ask is, what is your math curriculum that you're using? And I'm gonna say like 75-80% of the time, they say Matthew C. For those 2 reasons. One, I started my kids on a different math curriculum and I don't want to switch mid-year. And because just in case we need to do some kind of nationally normed test, I don't plan on doing any nationally normed tests with my kids right now, but just in case we need to, I'm not going to use Matthew C in my home. But it is a really good curriculum, and it really works wonderfully for kids that have disabilities and special needs. And who knows, I might pull it out for Naomi. Another one that I would never use in my household, oh my gosh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this, but people are very passionate about this curriculum. Very passionate. They either love this curriculum, or they hate this curriculum, and then there's like, I guess there's people in between. But you get like the two extremes with this curriculum for lots of different reasons. And so the curriculum, The Good and the Beautiful, I would never use that in my home. Yes, the lady who oversees all of it is Mormon. Yes, there are other people in the organization that's working on the curriculum that aren't Mormon, and I'm aware of all of that. But I have spoken with a Mormon that has tried that curriculum. It's watered down. It's very watered down. In her words, it's watered down Christianity. The reason I don't use it in my household is because I feel like there is so many other curriculums that I can choose from that I don't feel like I need to jump on the Good and the Beautiful bandwagon because everybody says so. Look, if you're getting the Good and the Beautiful for academic purposes, it's gonna do its job. If you're getting the Good and the Beautiful for spiritual, interwoven within the curriculum purposes, hearing from a Mormon saying that it's watered down and also hearing from Christians not liking, it's not going to do its thing. There are so many other beautiful curriculum out there that you could get. I will say that I do think, like I said, academically speaking, if it's your first year homeschooling and you want something that has academic solidness to it and you aren't really worried too much about the Christian, the Christian sphere of things, then yeah, okay, The Good and the Beautiful is going to work for you. But for us, it's not going to work. And you know what? That's my choice. ACE PACES. Now that's another curriculum that I would not use in my home. So the idea behind these is they're little like booklets, and it's very traditional. You just kind of read through them and you answer the questions. And that's pretty much it. It's very, very traditional. It's very self-paced. And the experience that I've had with it has only been through evaluations. And every single time I do this, I always hear the same thing. Parents are concerned that their children did not learn anything. And unfortunately, I have seen that to be true numerous times. I could see some really good things with ACE PACES for certain kids that learn like that. Very self-motivated kids that like to learn on their own and they actually take in the information. I can also see learning styles, those that are very, they need to read and they need to write to learn. I could see kids that are unschooling and they get the ACEs, PACES, so they can get the others, get the core stuff done so they can go out and explore and get their hands in on things. I do see that there are plenty of opportunities where ACE, PACES would be a good choice, but from an evaluator perspective, from a parent and talking to other parents' perspective. And so I would never buy that curriculum for our family. The last one that I'm going to mention, Time for Learning. Time for Learning is a computer-based program. Everything's on the computer, and it works for a lot of kids. It is also a secular curriculum. Now, we would not choose it in our household for a couple reasons. Well, one, I don't want them on the computer for most of their schoolwork. And two, we don't want a purely secular curriculum. That is really it. Time for Learning actually has come out with some information on how their program can actually help a lot of kids that have disabilities, and I do believe it. And they have, if you go to their website, you can see some of that information there and see if that kind of fits for you. But the reasons we wouldn't use it are specifically those. It's a secular curriculum, and I don't want my kids on the computer for the majority of their schoolwork. However, if those things don't bother you, I hear it's great. So those are my 5 curriculum that I would not use in my household, with the exception of Matthew C, because as I was saying this video, I was thinking maybe it might be good for my daughter that has Down syndrome as she gets older. It might. I don't know. She's exceptionally bright. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be doing, if I have not already, done a video on my top 5 curriculum choices that I would use in my household. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.